All right. How's it going, everybody? And we're live. And this should be streaming on a few different platforms, including YouTube. So if you're on YouTube, say hello. Facebook. And going on Twitch as well. So working on a couple settings here just to see. Let's edit some of the details here. It'd be nice if they let you edit the details ahead of time. But this is great. So I do want to give a little shout out for this app called Prism. This app called Prism, because I've gone through a whole bunch of different apps to try to get this multi-streaming, and Prism has been the best one so far with no issues, but we'll see how that goes. You know, there can always be issues later on down the road, but so far this all seems pretty solid. All right, let's see. Got that. And here we go. So, you know, right now, just sharing some details. What I'm working on right now is there's this drawing book that's been around since like the 1800s, and a lot of successful artists use this book for training to learn how to draw. And although I do have some drawing experience, I think this is helpful because it teaches like a classical method. So obviously there's no one way to like do things, but I thought I'd see what people were learning in the old days, right? Not necessarily like the 1300s or the 1400s, but you know, just to see what people were thinking about, what they were doing back in the 1800s. And of course art has changed so much back then or since then. But I think the one amazing thing about art is when you study it, if you learn it, you can learn so much about people or person in time, because literally like every single mark is a decision. Every single mark, choice of color, mistake that's been covered up or lack of a mistake is a idea that has been thought out. Maybe not like, you know, active, like every single square centimeter. I mean, I might even argue that every single square centimeter of any artwork is pretty much thought out by the artist. Whether it's not like, you know, it might not be super conscious, like, oh, I'm gonna leave this exact space open or make this exact space red or green. But for the most part, there's an active thought process, and I think that's the most interesting thing about art is you can actually see it. So unlike an invention from a scientist or something, which are all amazing. I mean, you know, every science, technology, all that is amazing. I think art is one of those few things where an individual person can truly leave a mark, and you know, for anyone to look at it in the future, if they, you know, if the art becomes a hit, there are traces left of how it was done, and I think that's pretty cool. So anyway, one project that I'm doing right now is I'm going through this book, but I'm not necessarily going through it. I'm not going through it the way it was supposed to be done, which is pencil. I'm going through it via pen or oil pastels. So that's what we're working on here, and I just want to see what sort of chats enter text for chat. Okay. Just have to add myself on as a moderator. just test something out here, doing a couple testing things. So I see my live. Let me see what happens if I jump in here. Just want to see if my chat window pops up. All right, cool. That works. So we got a test viewer. Okay, cool. This is a fairly new thing for me. It's like I feel like I'm exploring the possibilities of a new technology here. So I can't tell if my Facebook, oh, my Facebook is live. All right, cool. So got it live on Facebook finally, and now let me check out my YouTube. Well, I'm not sure if my YouTube's live, but let's see. Okay, and we are live on YouTube. So it doesn't tell me how many viewers I have. So if you have something to say, I won't be able to see if you're here. But I guess over time I'll get used to this setting here. Let me see. There's got to be a way to add some widgets and stuff. Anyway, here's what we've gotten so far. Did I show these pieces yet? Working out the kinks here of this new stream platform that I'm using to get on multiple areas. But you know, these are just some of the ideas, right? I use oil pastels. So what I love about using these oil pastels is you get all these such a great, interesting variety of colors. And right now I'm working on these faces. So some of these face studies, which you can see the nose, the basic nose, mouth, lips, everything. And we'll go ahead and just dive in instead of doing some more of this tech stuff. But here we go. As we dive in, let's see, what was I working on last? I was working on some face, and I want to see which face it was. We had this mouth, which I can pretty closely match up. But I'm not seeing exactly. So one of the down-facing mouths with the nostril right there. All right, so I think it was this one, the last one that I worked on. And that one, this one, and then this one up on the top right here. So the next one up will probably be this one over here on this opposite page. But as far as art goes, that is definitely one of my favorite things about studying art is just, you know, the artists that you really like, they leave their mark in a very unique way. They leave their mark in a way that other fields of business, or any field, I mean, I guess it's not really a field of business. It could be, but there's just artists just leave their mark in a way that are so unique, from writers to filmmakers to painters and everything in between. They leave a mark in some way, and I guess that's, you know, that's a part of the human drive, just trying to find a way to keep the idea of us going. And so far, I just started drawing outdoors again the other day, and one thing that I found really helpful is one thing that this book really teaches. It doesn't tell you the words, it doesn't tell you how to do things, but it is pretty explicit on some of the right ways to go about things. which would be, you really got to focus on proportions, lengths of your lines, and proportions. And it does a great job of just getting you to study lots and lots of proportions and angles and the way things are angled. And this will be my first one for the day, so we'll see how this turns out. But you start to see angles, you start to see proportions better between different lines, and just spending a little bit of extra time on each of these drawings. You know, most of the time I like draw in person, so I'm working very quickly to try to capture ideas, different people. So, you know, a lot of the design can seem very twisted in a sense of my drawings tend to transform as I'm working. But with this, to have something actually stay still to have the exact lines to work with and it stays still for so long, that's a nice little pleasant thing to work with. Now, I do think that it's as much of a hindrance to learning how to draw like on the fly as it is a blessing, because you know you help to like build these skills. But then, you know, when you're drawing outside, like just the other day I was like drawing outside and drawing out and about at the beach, and one thing that I noticed was I did have a difficult time remembering, you know, thinking about this idea that things don't stand still and wait for you to finish drawing them, especially if it's like out in public. And you know, you got once you remember that, you gotta let your drawing instincts kick back in. So here we go. We're gonna go with let's go with a dark red for the lips here. So one thing I like to do, I know what this is mainly supposed to do, is you're supposed to turn it as you go so that you can draw. But I don't want to do that. I want to keep them the way they were laid out on a page, because I learned this great exercise where you draw things not as they're like, so you might like take something and draw it upside down. And maybe it's just like, you know, pseudo creative nonsense. But what it supposedly teaches you or gets you to consider is how things are shaped and how things look, focusing on what you're seeing rather than what you're assuming. And I think that's a great exercise, is to know what to not assume. Because a lot of times what you can do is you can draw something, and what ends up happening is it's something that you assumed about a specific area. Like, you know, say you draw a nose, and you know, you kind of had this assumption of like how a nose should look, and you let that habit affect and influence the way you draw that nose. But if you're trying to draw a person or you know, someone you know, it's helpful to really look at what you're drawing and trusting what you see. So that might sound a little convoluted, but if you ever try the exercise of, you know, taking a photo and drawing it upside down is an example, right? Doing a photo of yourself, taking a photo of yourself and making it go upside down, and that's a very helpful exercise, right? Because what you do is, instead of like depending on knowing the form of things, you get to depend on simply what you see. And sometimes something might look right when you're drawing it upside down, but the reality is that it doesn't look right when you turn it back around, because you had these assumptions about the way something should look. And this is a difficult thing to describe or explain in the midst of drawing, while also, if you haven't actually experienced it. But, you know, I'm sure most people have. This is it's a pretty standard, like, brain training exercise for drawing and art or whatever. So here we go. I'm just coloring in and coloring through with this oil pastel with these different colors here. We're going to darken it. So I use some blue. And I'm going to darken some of these areas. Give it a little bit of a darker space here. And color some space around the nose. Give some nicer shape around around the various body parts. And I will reveal in just a moment here what we've got. So as we're building up right here, you know, this is just going by what I see rather than trying to do my own interpretation and picking different colors and just developing these faces, these parts of these faces. So I still have like 500 pages to go. And I don't know if I'll actually do this entire book live stream. You never know. Because one thing is it's hard to sell studies as an artist, selling studies. But if you get good at them, maybe someone gets interested. So, but I think that's one of the things about art is, you know, it's so easy to want to just jump in and sell. And sell work and get your work known, but I find a lot of fun in discovery of different ideas and techniques too. So who knows? Enjoying the process, right? Enjoying the process. Now that won't necessarily pay the bills, but over time, things usually come from that.
So funny.
So here we go. Just finishing up this face, and we'll draw a full version of this face, just like sketch of the face without color, and just without the roundness of everything. And from there, we'll go on to the next project. Are they still partying it up at the park?
No, I don't think so.
Oh. So what are you going out?
We're going to
Just gonna
grocery.
find something to do?
Yeah, find some groceries and get this really bad headache.
You got a really bad headache.
Yeah.
Oh.
I started it while I was working, but I worked.
No. All right.
So did I hear you say of a new technology for your life?
Yeah, so I'm using Prism, and it allows me to just multi-stream to multiple channels at once.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
So I'm on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch right now.
Nice. No Twitter?
No, I don't. Yeah, I should do Twitter, huh?
You should do Twitter.
I should do Twitter. It's just I don't know. I haven't really gotten into Twitter.
Huh.
That's a good idea. Thanks for.
So what were you doing before? What began with a T? Was it Twitter?
No, it's YouTube. I was live streaming mostly on YouTube.
Okay.
So now it's Kathleen, everybody.
Hello. Hi.
Yes.
Very good to start.
Yes. Yeah, so I was doing YouTube, and Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm gonna go to the store.
Okay.
I'll probably text you something so I don't have to say it out loud.
Okay. Is it confidential stuff?
Top secret. There. She told you so. Hungry enough to eat some real food. Tell your viewers our cat is sick.
I have not mentioned that yet to these viewers. And let's see, so getting some subtle lines, some line variation, adding a lip, adding another, the chin, where the chin curves, and then here we go. Alright, well, she went from,
You're in the plate here.
she went from not eating anything. She went from not eating anything, or no, she went from devouring everything we give her to not eating anything. I think she's putting back weight. Weight back on?
Yes, she will.
Think so?
Well, the person at Petco
Yeah.
has a cat with the same thing, and the thyroid is what's burning off the weight, so the medication will help.
The thyroid burns the weight?
Yeah.
Mm.
You can go the other way too. An overweight person can have an underactive thyroid.
Mm.
And the metabolism is not moving along much.
I see.
So hers is overdrive. She really has to, it's not just gaining back what she lost, she has to put on even more weight to counteract the weight that's still coming on. Well, we just have to keep feeding her.
Okay.
I'll just stay home. We're both home. I'll just be home. Feeding our cat.
Okay.
Alright, I'm gone.
Alright, see you later, babe. Okay, so got this nose. And one thing about the challenge of working with oil pastels is this idea that the oil pastels tend to be thicker than the pencils or pens that this is really designed for. So you have to work with that challenge, but I like that challenge. Or it's not even a challenge. You know, I've been having this philosophical debate when it comes to oil pastels. You know, do we as humans, as a human artist, should I carve things and mold things to my will? Because, you know, as humans, we do have that ability. We can basically take anything that we want, any physical object, and mold it to our will, right? Like, I can carve this into sharp points. I can make this drawing. I can, you know, humans are quite remarkable, right? We can control, manipulate, transform, destroy, create. We can do all these things to physical objects, to our physical world. But the question for the artist is, should I, at least as I'm working on this project, should I do that to these oil pastels, or should I leave them as is and allow the mistakes and the boldness, the thickness of these lines that they create? Should I transform this to like sharp points, or should I leave it as is, right? Like to allow the imperfection, or I guess maybe you could say it's perfect the way it is, you know, that type of thing. I have these like philosophical thoughts, these creative thoughts. You know, when you spend a lot of time just working on artwork, you can probably have some random, outrageous, or normal thoughts, but it is definitely a question, right? Should I mold it? And I've decided that I don't want to mold it, right? I want to leave it as is and allow it to just shine through the way that it is. So if some things turned out thicker than I wanted, or some things turn out a different way than I had imagined, that's okay. That becomes an okay thing to do. So I use this time to really round out some of the body parts, some of the faces and the lips. And the chin here. So the chin needs to be rounded out. And let's see, I can already see that I had added a color to some of the lips. So I'm using a dark brown here. I like to experiment with a totally different variety of colors. And a totally different variety of colors on a regular basis. So here we go. And then I'm gonna work with this and fill the shape in. So here we go. What would be good? If I did a dark brown, I gotta go over it with like a yellow. So that's what I have to do right now. And I gotta go over it with like a nice lighter color, especially if I want to change the lip color. And then you got this other lip color right here. Let's add a little bit of white into this. And let's see, let's go right here. One thing I love about oil pastels and working with them is that you can constantly, not constantly, but you can work an area a few different times to get the effect you want. You can kind of like push different colors around. Although, eventually it'll probably get too messy. It's not like painting where you can paint over a spot over and over, but you can go at least like a couple times over a spot to work to improve it. So, excuse me. So let's see, what would go good around red, blue, brown. So let's carve this space here. We're gonna carve it, and let's go like this. We're gonna carve this nose here, and carve this nose inward here. And let's see. And here we go. So anyway, I'll go ahead and draw out the full piece of this first, just the other part of the face, and then I'll do a little show and tell for you. A little show and tell. Let's see. Let's do the nose. And we're going to go down and around. Go up. It's about the same length, and around here. Down. Curve around the lip. A little bit of a lip curve to come in. I misjudged the distance that I need for this this face, but that's okay. Probably should have added a little bit more space for different parts of the face, but we've got hundreds more to work on. Alright, so here we go. Project number 2. I like how like some of these faces I get to just like mush together and push together. This is my latest. I put a dark blue on a brown. Blended in with this yellow, this gritty yellow. Green and yellow, blue, green, yellow. And let's go with another face here. So which face is that? Alright. So now, here's what's cool. Next page we get to move on to like the full side face view. And then some ear studies. Ears are quite a complex thing because they just like... Ears are like unformed... I mean, I'm sure they're very complex organisms, but they're like almost seem like unfully developed features of people's heads. Like they just kind of like, just like a, you know, whatever, however ears came, ears were like, right? Like it's like they just like popped out, and however they were formed wasn't so specific. It just happens. Ears are a funny thing. I like ears. So let's see, what color should we do this next part with? We're gonna go with a green. Go with a neon green here to do this last part of this section. And then, you know, we still got so much more. So before we even move on to the rest of the face, we got a couple arm exercises, hand exercises. So we got quite a lot of work to do. But I don't think they're going to go that long because, you know, if you have one page of a sketch of some figure, it's going to go quicker than 10 of the same thing. And we'll see how this goes. So anyway, let's do this. All right. Let's go down right here. Figure out how long this piece of the nose needs to be. It's going to go like that. Okay. A little thing like so. And then a nice long nose area. At a slight angle. A little longer. And there we have that. So now, somewhere halfway, a little bit more than halfway, you know, I'm just talking through some of the thoughts that are happening in my head as I'm working on this. So somewhere along, a little bit more than halfway, I get totally absorbed into like studying these things sometimes. So somewhere more, a little bit more than halfway, I'm gonna draw this, and then it's gonna curve. And we're gonna get another one, but this time it has to go up a little. It can't curve out. It has to curve in. And that's what one great thing about this book is, you know, you can constantly look back and reflect and see where your mistakes are. You can learn where your mistakes are happening and everything like that. And and you can start to like see your mistakes and know your mistakes. Be really helpful in many situations, because then you start to like learn how to fix your own problems, learn how to see your own errors, and then, you know, I think that's where the creativity can really flow, is when you can self-critique, self-analyze, self-study. And here we go. Let's use this green. What would we go with green? I'm gonna go with a light orange. Let's go with they call this, let's see what color this is, a gelb orange, a yellow orange. Oh, gelb must be a different type of word, different language. So yellow orange. I'm gonna go with the yellow orange here, and we're gonna start to round out some of these shapes with the green. And here we go. We're gonna go, oh, dark blue lips here. Oh no, dark blue lips. So we're gonna go like so. Let's go. And then these lips are actually gonna come around. Let's bring in this orange here. Let's go like this. So we're gonna round this baby out. Let's use a darker orange, and we'll throw in some darker areas. It's nice when you can start to see some of your own problems, because you can figure out like, oh, this is why this looks weird, or this is why this doesn't necessarily look right. Orange, blue, and then we're going to use red. See, green, orange, blue, red. Trying to find the right color to use to go around this with. So we're going to go with the purple. Let's go ahead and carve this with our purple here. So let's see. This needs to go in nice and sharp. I think this chin juts out just a bit too far, so we're going to carve this chin in. Let's do this. We're going to use an outline to define some of this. And let's do another one here. So one thing I find pretty interesting is, so I like to leave my live streams in a way where I don't really filter too much as far as what I say when it comes to artwork. So I don't mind like talking about my mistakes or like what I do like or don't like about my pieces. But at the same time, find that, initially I was like, oh, well, how do I keep myself from saying stupid things? But one thing that happens when I get into this is, I definitely find that when you get totally into it, your mind kind of just like zones in. When you get into a flow state with things, your mind just kind of zones in. And I think that prevents me from saying stupid things, just being so focused on the activity of artwork that you don't need to worry about saying stupid things because you're already so engaged in an activity. So anyway, here's one of the side faces. I've been drawing these all facing up or down as opposed to any other way. This is probably one of my least favorite angles because it's like a up angle down view at someone's face like this. It's kind of hard because you never know, the lip doesn't look right. You don't see nostrils, so it could be kind of weird. But this is probably one of my favorite angles. I like the color of this one. You just see enough nostril and shape on a face. But we're gonna go ahead and pull this piece off. And we're gonna start on a new piece because this is gonna be a new page. And it looks like I should have enough space here. So let's start this one with a purple. We're gonna do this purple, do the outlines in purple. I'm gonna move this over so I can see this better. Let's see what's going on my channels real quick though. And we're doing this. So let's go with the top of the face here. So these look like pretty much an angled line and a straight line. Go like here. And this is going to angle down just a little bit. Forehead, and then give it a nice sharp crease right there. we have that. Let's go with the nose. So the nose is a nice long line. Bigger than these two. Probably about one, almost double the length, but this line itself is probably about a little bit longer than that. So we're gonna go estimate up. There we go. Straighten this line out, bring it down. Let's see, the eye is going to come down from this angle. And one thing about even studying this book is that it definitely comes from the classical way of drawing things, you know, from molds and statues. So you're not going to create like a nice, I don't think you're going to learn the best thing you're going to learn. I don't think that the best thing you'll learn from this is necessarily, hey, how do I draw a great looking face, you know, an accurate lifelike face, as much as it is that I think the value of these plates, the things that are printed in here that you can study, I think the best thing really is that the study of and the looking at the proportions of things. And yes, you at the same time you do get to pick up some of the flavors of classical drawing. Personally, I like more modern stuff, but it doesn't help to learn a little bit from every major art movement. So this should be like right there. It's gonna come down a bit. I'm just going to touch this eye line here, so. And I'll be able to show another visual of this in a few. Oh, well, this is kind of cool. I get to finally see, they're finally showing how it's supposed to look when it's shaded in. So rather than just trying to figure out the areas myself and just coloring it all, this is going to show what needs to be dark and what doesn't. So that's kind of cool. Starting to see how the lights and the shadows interact, which is great. Hopefully this works a little, Pastel. I probably have to start to plan this a little differently as well. And here we have it. So go like this. And cover some of this lip area. Maybe smooth out this part of the lip. Bring it in a bit. Give this lip a little shadow here. Get a little triangle as it comes up. Round out some of these shadows here. And let's see. All right. Let's go with a different color. We're going to go with the light blue. Actually, maybe go with a lighter purple. We have this purple. It just seems less saturated. Oh, there we go, light purple. Okay, so we're actually going to go with this color. And I do want to get a different color for the lips and eyes. But before that, let's do part of this, color part of this in. Light purple just isn't light enough. I think I want to go with a pink. I just don't think there's enough of a color variation here that the purple is going to really show what it's trying to show. And this feels like a part that where like a lot of this starts to come together, because you finally get to start putting some of the shades together, some of the shadows, and rather just coloring it in whole, and trying to make stuff up, you really get the opportunity to build and develop the face, which is nice. So I think what we really need to do to separate this is create some very stark contrasting eyes, which is what we'll do here. And let's go. Need to change the colors of the lips. So we're gonna make the lips a little bit more purple. You know what, let's make the dark parts even darker. So we're gonna blend in a bit of dark blue here. Let's go push in a dark blue. Let's do this. Make sure that we get the right parts of the face here. Before we necessarily share what we've got, let's go with the whole, just do the sketch by itself of this figure without without the mock-up. Alright, and here we go. So we're going to come down. Let's do this. Come down, paint across, get some of the eyes, paint down the nose. Okay. All right, so a little progress of what we got here. So this is the next section. So we start to build up. It's kind of cool how all this happens in this book here. And you can really see yourself progress as you move through it. I mean, you know, first off, you just start with a couple different eyes, the most basic part. And one thing that I find interesting about drawing eyes is that the bigger you draw the eye, the easier it is. Because there's so many like really fine details about the eye, just like, you know, where your eyelids close, this angle between the eye, how these wrinkles form, how you can actually see the inside of the eyelid, and that there's like a lot of depth around the eye that creates the eyelid. And, you know, the different distance between the eyebrow and the eyelid. So there's all these really subtle things that if you just start drawing it by yourself, you know, and you draw really small, like say you draw like cartoon animals or something, like, you know, like small headed cartoons, like maybe a head like this big, you know, like a cartoon that's like really, just like a really small cartoon or whatever, and the head's like super small and you're trying to draw the eye in there, the eye just like does not work. So the eye just, you can't draw an eye. You can draw an eye that small, but even the smallest brush will only create so much detail within the eyelid. So I definitely find drawing bigger much easier. So, you know, anyway, you start with these eyes, and you start with a lot of eyes, and then eventually you move to like noses and mouths. Noses and mouths. And then before you know it, you're on faces. How cool is that? You're on these side profile faces. So pretty unique. Now you could, I've used books to study that you move much quicker. You know, they move you much quicker. Like, hey, you draw a circle, you draw a couple, like a nose here, a little circle here, draw like an eye here, an eye there, and then you draw a mouth, and then that's it. That's the design. There are definitely books that get you up and running much quicker. But I think the challenge with those books is it doesn't necessarily teach you how to see, how to interpret. Like, you can make up your own designs. That's great. I mean, that's being creative and being able to come up with your own designs in itself is like an absolutely amazing skill to have. And if you can just sit all day and come up with all sorts of different characters and faces, that is a gift, a skill. But at the same time, you know, if you want to learn how to draw from life and objects or whatever, it can be very helpful to develop some of the skills in this book. Like, even if you don't copy everything exactly, just the way this book is designed to help you study and interpret lines and information is so incredibly useful. Let's go ahead and start on this next one without babbling on too much. So we're going to start with the eyebrows. I'm not actually going to start with the I'm not actually going to start with the front of the face, which is what I usually do, but I want to start with the eyebrows this time. So just a nice little angle. Finding the right length here. That's about the right length. Might need a deeper angle, like this angle right here, but figure that out. So then angle this. Bring this angle down. Okay. And then from halfway, we're going to go do another eyebrow. And then, there we go. And go. Yeah, this needs to go right about where this eye needs to go. So that's cool. That's a good spot. And here we go. This area needs to touch about where the eye meets. So we're going to do and draw a little mark right here. You need to come from around the face. Draw straight down the face. Trying to find just the right length here. It's a little bit longer, so whatever this length is, I need to go a little bit longer than that. That might be a little too big, but that's okay. Everybody's got, everybody's got a different shaped nose. So we're going to go ahead and push this nose up. Looks to be at about a little angle here. All got different shaped noses. Go, bring this down. One, two, a lot of angles here. A lot of angles. Okay, all right. So here's the next part. Gotta color in the shadows. Yes, that's right. I said color in the shadows. So we're actually going to go with a darker green here. Let's go with a darker green. We're going to go in front of the eyelids. So in front of the eyelids, curve some of the eyelids. We're going to smooth this area out. Let's go around the nose here. Make sure that we darken some of these areas. And here we go. So let's do this. Let's find a good color that'll help the eyes stand out against the green. I'm gonna go with, let's see, red, orange, yellow, green, blue. So let's do blues and yellows. I'm gonna go with this like turquoise color for the eyes. No, it's too light or too dark. We're going to go with some dark red lips and then just regular red lips. And now we've got this green. We're going to make the face yellow. Let's go with the yellow. Trying to find some ways to contrast this green. Make it a bit of a lighter. Trying to lighten up some of the lighter green and then keep the dark green nice and dark. So we have to round this part out, this part of the face. And let's see. Round this out. let's see where we're at here. So one thing I gotta do is I gotta push this eye out a bit further. It's something to contrast from this eye here. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna take a little orange. Actually, we might as well just use the green. I'll go with the green. Just go in front of this eye to create a little bit more of a shape around it. All right, now let's go into figuring out the drawing itself without without the without the straight lines and the guides. So we'll do this. We'll start with the eyes. And then we're gonna go So here we go. Let's do this. Get this eye going with the shadows. Really use these shadows to carve out the shape here. And drawing down the lip now. I just love being able to know now, like, get an idea of where the shadows and such need to be. Because when you just draw a lot, you kind of like, you can lose sight of like what how shadows are start to form and things like that, because you focus so much. You can focus so much on outline and form. You could spend so much time on outline and form that you lose sight of the actual. I've definitely made this so disproportionate because the eye is so much bigger than everything else, or the top part of the face. So that's kind of how it is in this image here. Might be able to make the chin just a little bit bigger, but I don't think that's going to help too much. Let's actually tighten this up, make it nice and thick and you know what? We're gonna carve around our figures here. Just create a bit of separation between the image and the design. And this helps to define our shape even a little better. Or our head, I should say, not our shape. Let me see. The second head. Yeah, that can go in a little further. A little bit of a rounder area before the chin. Come around. There we have it. So here we go. Head's number 2. Side views from the head. I can already see that this nose ended up getting curved up a little bit too far. Should have been more straight. So, that's something that happens. Actually, doesn't look too bad. I don't know. Yeah, it got curved up a little too much. But, it's one of those things where you're starting to look at your painting, drawing again, and comparing and seeing how things are different. That's why we keep practicing. So here we go. We'll go with some red here. And let's do this. So we're going to use this red oil pastel. And we're going to go up. Let's do this. kind of cool. There's a guideline for how the nose needs to be. That's too far away. So another thing about working with oil pastels is sometimes the oil pastel can definitely cover up where you're trying to see. And because it's so thick, there's a few other places that could possibly show up. Because there's so many corners and edges. So you might start laying it down, you're like, oh, you know, this isn't exactly where I had wanted it. Wanted this specific line. Even if your judgments might be accurate about where, or the distance, or the size of the length. Let's see, we need the nostril. Nostril goes right around here. This line needs to go straight down. So we're going to go straight down from the nostril, basically, just a little bit lower than the nostril. And let's do this. So we've got the initial sketch of this part, and let's move into this next area here. So I'm gonna grab a dark, I'm gonna shade this in with the dark brown. Use my dark brown on this one. One thing that's not so clear for these is you know, sometimes it might require a little explanation, but you know, the overall understanding of like the shapes and the designs of everything starts to make sense real quickly. But knowing exactly where the lights go, I mean, that could be a challenge for any book creator. So I guess you just have to practice so much that eventually you just kind of like intuitively know where certain shadows are supposed to go. Or if something doesn't look right as far as lighting, you might have like a general idea of how to improve it. This gentleman has a mustache. So we're going to go with like a dark blue to cover some of this mustache, just so we have some color in it. We could add a little bit of a transition as far as the mustache goes. Now they're starting to, bit by bit, introduce hair. Hey, hey! Welcome to the casa. Huh? Yeah? You agree? How'd it go?
For me?
Yeah.
Oh, it's such a pavilion. It's fine.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, so
Let's see, we use red. Red with go red with our ochre. Let's see how this goes.
Hey guys.
Add some eyes. We'll add some nice red eyes. Actually, you know what? We're going to go with green eyes. We got green, blue.
I gotta open the fridge.
Just,
You stick it in?
yeah. I got it. I got it.
You sure?
Yes. Put it on top of the mayo for now.
Okay.
Let's see, what color eyes? We're going to give it some purple eyes. Real eyes, purple eyes. Let's see, so here we go. What I need is like a dark brown. So I gotta use a dark brown over the red here.
Happy, what can I give you?
Dark brown over the red.
I want all this food, huh? Yeah. All this nasty food. But it was good when I put it out.
Not good anymore. Darken eye area. A couple of subtle shadows around the eyes.
You know, I would have made more ramen from scratch. You didn't have to buy this.
Well, it's actually like a nice one. I don't think they use the cheapo noodles.
Not the noodles, but all the ingredients and packets. That's not.
Well, read the ingredients. I don't think they're as bad as the usual ones. It's the fancy stuff.
It looks fancy. It is expensive, but it's the same stuff.
It is? You looked at the ingredients? Same stuff, really? Okay. Give him some silver, bit of a silver beard here. Need some modern style. Now, and we're going to redarken some spaces now. And let's contrast this yellow, red, orange, yellow. Contrast this yellow with like a purple outline. All right, well we did blue, not purple. It's funny, I seem to be drawing these bigger and bigger as we go, rather than sticking with the same exact size. I don't know what it is, but I just cannot keep up with the same sizes of these sketches. I just feel the need to go bigger for whatever reason. I definitely draw things bigger than I actually see them. That's okay. I think it gives these figures some character and some interesting looks. A little bit of a ruggedness. The transformation of these characters gives a little bit of character to these. But let's see, how long have we been streaming? I don't... Huh? Long time. Doesn't say. Mic on, full screen on, camera chroma. Adding media files, widget. There's got to be a widget that tells me. Oh well. You know what I forgot to do? Is I forgot to do the SketchUp of this figure.
I guess you can make some of that ramen when you're done.
Yeah, I will.
I got stuff for regular spaghetti.
For tomorrow?
Yeah. Ernie's eating canned food.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Good.
Yeah.
It's positive, right?
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Sure. Yay.
Good. All that money you spent at the vet. My goodness.
Right.
Hopefully that solved the issue.
No, it's a lifelong problem.
Lifelong?
Mm-hmm.
Who told you that?
The vet?
I'll show you. I'll show them lifelong.
Really?
All right. Let's see.
Or you can get another expensive treatment, that iodine treatment, and then cure her. Can you grab me a wine glass?
Wine glass. Yeah, just give me a
Can I
minute.
reach it from here?
You there? Yeah, I'm sure you can reach it.
Okay.
You can reach around.
So what are you making bigger?
Well, like all these faces, you're technically supposed to try to get them as close to the exact size as possible,
Oh,
but
these ones?
but you could tell that my heads are significantly larger.
Yes.
But it's like funny because like I'm thinking while I'm doing it, I'm definitely thinking like, oh, this is like the exact same size.
Yeah.
Well, once Fern gets her energy back, she's not gonna want to hang out with us.
Yeah, so we should enjoy it when we can.
She's not gonna want pets and
Picking up
and hugs
cuddles.
and cuddles anymore.
Well, you never know.
She might have changed.
She's a changed. She's come to the right decisions of staying away from people. And all that scratching and biting for her? Not necessary.
Highly unnecessary. Now, you know, I'm going to do one more on this page. And I shall be ready to prepare some din. Some diner. Alright, so let's go.
Are you done? You did pretty good for her.
Move there.
Temp back into the real
Here's the question: is we don't know if it's the medication or whether she actually has her appetite back. Yeah, you think it is?
Yeah. That's the only factor that's changed.
Right. So it's not good, right? It means.
Well, I don't know which medication. It's
Huh?
It's probably the thyroid medication that's finally kicking in, and she doesn't really need her appetite stimulated.
I've met people that said they would go homeless and live under the bridge for their cats. Right.
But I will do the best I can. If I'm homeless, the cat is homeless too. So
Yeah, right. That's good. That's a good point.
how do I feed her?
All right. So let's go like this. And let's get the nose nice and long. Nice long nose. Nice long nose. There we go.
Well, good. I'm glad to see everybody's eating. Where are you, Simba? Oh, that's right.
So even Simba doesn't like the new food though, right?
No, he's eating the new food. This is the new food.
The food that you got today, or is some of the other new food?
No, it's the new food you've got.
Oh, okay. Which one? Like the
It's called...
the nice origin?
That's a origin. Yeah.
Which ones did they not eat, so we know not to buy it? The pate.
Whatever ones are in the trash.
Is it the
I
pate?
guess. They probably like the really expensive.
They weren't really that expensive. They're like $2 each.
Oh, okay.
$2.75.
Return anything that's unopened.
Huh?
Like return any that are unopened.
You don't want to just give them all of them?
Well, then, if they're the ones they don't want to eat.
But I only got him the one of the origin. Oh, they don't want to eat the hard food or the cold food.
No, they're eating it.
What about the cold food?
Yeah, they're eating it. I guess. I don't know.
Because I only got one of the pate,
Okay, well that's.
and I think that's the one that they don't like.
Okay. I don't want to take the garbage. This is an origin too.
Maybe it's just the certain stuff that's in it, which we should figure out. Okay, so let's go like this. Oh, the birds sound so fresh.
Yeah, lovely. Outside it's really quiet. There's no new store now for Rubens.
What? Where's that?
It's on Alameda.
Alameda.
Right around there. Here we go. Right here.
All right. So now let's take a dark color. Which is a dark color we should use right now? We're gonna use a dark
Purple.
Yeah, good idea. I haven't used a purple for the head yet. Actually, I'm gonna go with the blue because the blue is darker, and then I'm gonna color the rest purple. I get a good contrast if I use dark blue. Otherwise, it's gonna look too similar. I just use purple. Let's go here. And we're gonna add some hairs here. I like how they're starting to add subtle hair, piece of hair, hair lines. What's that sound? It's kind of pleasant, huh? So let's use this dark blue to contrast. And we're going to get little corners of the eyes. These subtle little corners of the eyes here. And let's get this nose. Nose. And get a little corner right here. The lip. Start to capture some of these hairs. There we go. What's this, 3-body problem? No, you're not watching anymore?
It's the wedding.
Huh?
The Succession wedding. I never saw it.
Oh, you're catching up?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, now let's use a purple. We're going to go super light purple. Come, Daddy.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Daddy. Must have been fun to play the Fly Guys.
Yeah. Ouch. Charlotte,
Let's see what goes good on top of purple. A little bit of... Let's go red in the eyes. What? See if we can bring in some yellow to lighten up some of this head here.
Has your sister ever heard has she ever heard of Talens and Bargue in Maldives? Has she heard of these folks? She must be here. I got a call. You know what I'm saying? What? Here. We are putting together a hostile takeover of one of the largest media corporations in the world.
cheese? Now you want some cheese.
Okay, so let's do this. Go. All right. And haven't had much chatter lately, so that's how I know when I'm starting to get tired and that my exercise and my work will start to get less productive, in a sense of my mind will stop absorbing some of the ideas that you gain. I heard that some of the best exercise and study you can do is hour intervals or 20-minute intervals with like 10-minute breaks or something like that. It's like 1-to-3 ratio of time. But with that, here we go. I'll just show one more time what we've done for the day before we wrap up. And here we go, just some of our Bargue sketches. And with that, thanks for tuning in. Have a great day, everybody. We're done. End. Well, for whatever reason, how do I end this? Well, let's autofocus. Yikes.
Gregory Hirsch?
Greg.
Excuse me?
You were born, you look like a little misshapen egg.
Yeah, I did hear that.
And your dad is just trying to say that all the men in Southampton.
Well, this is disappointing. You can't really end it right away. So let me figure this out. Let's see. Maybe I just close this app out. Hopefully this works. We'll see, people. Will this end the stream? We're going to end right now, or try to end right now. So hopefully the camera doesn't actually